Hi. Since the last few posts, people have been asking for a more detailed look at our aquaponics system. So, I'm no expert with it, but I've just done it all by hand, little piece at a time, lots and lots of good information online from a guy called Murray Hallam and from Rob Gray of Bob's Backyard Aquaponics. All good stuff on YouTube. So just try it. Start small and grow. And that's what we've done. So I hope you enjoy this little tour. Right, let's have a look at everything in section by section. So these are the media beds. They're full of 50% clay ball and 50% scoria. And this scale, too much scoria floats, so the plants don't get good roots. And we're getting quite a few ants in this one. Anyway, we'll move those white fly traps aside so you can see. Water's pumped through. Each bed has a tap so that it can be isolated from the main system and turned off if we need to clean it or any maintenance. There's one of the bell siphons going. We'll get to that in a second. The water flows in nicely where it's filtered. These are a little bit clogged. We'll have to clean them out. I should clean things before I video them. Anyway, it's filtered in there. Fills up to a level, and clean that out a little bit so nothing falls in. When it reaches a certain level, the bell siphon is triggered and the water from the bed all dumps down back into the sump through this pipe. All except for the end bed, which, just for convenience at the time, has a separate outlet. Interestingly, since we increased the flow rate of the pump, this bed no longer dumps through the bell siphon, but I think that's to do with the pipe connection. And these two beds now dump as through bell siphons, which they never did before. So that's pretty good. If we lose one, we get two. I like those kind of odds. Here's my unsuccessful over summer seed raising. So that's the media bed section. Pretty straightforward. Okay, this pipe section, we've got 12 meters of 90mm PVC pipe. Flows down at a low gradient. Drops down, plenty of space in between for plant growth, and then we flow back to a sediment filter which I adapted from a rainwater system, and then into the fish tank. So I use plastic cups because they're cheap. I've made a few holes in the side of each with a soldering iron. Yes, I know that releases toxic gas and things, but I don't know. And then we fill them up with perlite. These strawberries have just been transplanted into this system. Inside you can see there's a good amount of water. And we have success with green leafy veggies such as pak choy. Basil just loves this setup. Come around these again. Tomatoes are doing well, and I think if we just walk down here, yeah, there's a happiest basil. And this tomato is just going nicely. So that's the pipe system. Sometimes I have trouble keeping the nutrient levels up in that for some reason, but I'm not sure. I've done shorter ones before, but this is our first large-scale effort. Here's the fish tank. It's chopped and flipped, to use the terminology IBC. We get on the top bed, we have a flow coming from the pump into an azolla and water lettuce bed, which I'm hoping will just produce like crazy for biomass and also for food. for the rabbits and the chooks. We've got a floating raft bed there with lots of dirt. We've had lots of dust lately, so it's a bit discoloured. There's fish underneath all this, but they're a little bit shy and only come up in feeding time. And the water flows from here into a pipe and down into the fish tank. So we have two inlets there, one from the pipe bed, one from the fish tank. In here, which we've got about 750 litres of water, there's goldfish, a couple of catfish, and as a little experiment, some freshwater mussels, so we can see if they really do a job filtering. If they survive, I'll buy a few more, but they're $11 each, so caution. Then when the water level creeps up a little bit here, water flows through this pipe into this bucket, which contains filtering medium. Water comes to the bottom and then raises up, makes it a more effective filter. And then when that's filled, we flow back into the sump, all nice and clean. This is the sump and the pump. It's the heart of the aquaponics system. Water level is getting a little bit low because this tub is too small, but it's all I've got at the moment. And you can see I've got another tote connected to it with a balancing pipe in between. I had to modify this a little bit so that this pipe picks up more from the bottom of the tub, because the pump was running out of water when the level got down past here, which is the inlet. So it's a slight modification I made. Pretty soon the wicking beds are going to, the media beds are going to dump, and this will fill up really quickly. But it is, here comes one now. But it is a little close to the bone at the moment, so I'd like to get a bigger tub. You can see the water flow swirls around, and this means that dirt and heavy particles concentrate in the centre, making it kind of a swell filter. And I do have a cover to the end of this pipe to stop larger items getting in. There we are. So that increased flow means one of the media beds is about to dump its contents of water, so things will pick up quite quickly. From the 5,000 litre an hour pump, water comes up through this octopus looking homemade manifold, where there's no 90 degrees, well actually there is that one. I used to have PVC pipe like this with 90 degree turns, but you lose so much of your flow. Now this goes to the pipe bed, to the fish bed and tank and raft bed, and to the media beds, and pretty soon we'll be going up to this other pipe bed which we have, but I'm not using at the moment because there's just so much growth in front of it, it's hard to get to. Each section has a tap so we can control the flow rates, and things seem to balance out nicely. We had 3,000 litre an hour before pump, but this wasn't enough to keep this whole system going. It was enough to keep that side of things, which was the first system, but then when we added this side of things, it got a little bit underpowered. So flow rates are quite good. They don't have to be high, just constant. And we have the pump on for 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off, from 6 in the morning through till 8 at night, which was great for summer when we had stinking hot days. But I might just, oh here goes somebody. There you go, pump's turned off now. The things will drain a little bit into that, back into that sump. So yeah, that timing was great for summer. I might back it back a little bit now the weather's cooling down, and of course winter, it'll only be on for 15 minutes every hour. I think we worked that out to be quite a good rate last year. we will see how we go this year. But look at all that growth, just loving it. We've got snake beans, tomatoes, basil, strawberries, melons. We'll just see how they'll go in there. There's a cucumber and a something else. Malabar spinach. We like to have it all cascading down the front, looking really cool. Out there's some water parsley, which our resident blackbird has become very, very partial to, and kangkong, which is just thriving. That's our leafy greens for summer. We've got some other aquatic kind of plants around the place too. We've got a different kind of kangkong. I think it's called bamboo leaf kangkong. Brahmi. A temporarily empty bed. Some, down here we've got some water chestnuts and river mint. So they're just separated from the main system because we've just got so much in the main system. There's just so much happening. And here near the main water of the IBC bed is taro. It's not connected to the IBC or to the watering system, aquaponics system, but we water it by hand. But all of our water-loving plants such as taro, sagittaria, and rushes for Julina's weaving are grown in these big plastic tubs where they can hold a lot of water. Now we had a big mysterious die-off of the fish during the really hot weather, so we don't know what caused that. pH was okay. Nitrates and nitrites and ammonia and all that were a little bit high, but that could have been because the fish were dying and starting to decompose in the water overnight. So a friend gave us lots and lots of goldfish. There's some in there. There's some in the duckweed bed container, which I'm just getting started. Some in our second Azola container. We like Azola. So some of these will be transferred into the big IBC and others will stay in the smaller containers. I think it's good to separate them a little bit just in case of a problem like we had. So I hope you enjoyed that little walkthrough of our system. You don't have, it grew over time. You don't have to do it all at once. We started off with 2 buckets and an aquarium and a handful of reclaimed clay balls from a drug dealer's dump down the road where they dumped their stuff on the side of the road, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. So it doesn't have to be all at once. But there's redundancy, there's backups, there's I think it's quite well designed. I just have to learn how to monitor things a little bit better now. Maybe automate the flow so that things happen a little bit more controllably. At the moment it's run just on a simple timer. So I think we can do more than that. Okay, hope you enjoyed it.